Microsoft is now providing some tooling for you to assess any oversharing that's happening in your environment. Now we need to log into the Purview portal, so purview.microsoft.com. You'll need to do that as an appropriate administrator. Once you've done that, select Solutions on the left hand side and go in and find DSPM for AI and select that. So this is Data Security Posture Management for AI, and from the menu that appears on the left here, let's select Data Assessments. Now you'll notice this is currently in preview. Going forward, you'll probably need to have at least one Microsoft 365 Copilot license in your environment to be able to access this. So at the moment it is in preview, so most people should have access while it's in preview. Now you'll also get a summary of what oversharing is all about. You'll see the assessment status and a nice summary up the top here, plus all the assessments that have been currently configured and run on a regular basis. So before we create an assessment, let's go in and have a look at one that has completed recently. So this completed assessment will give me a summary of all the items, any sensitivity labels, and items data in there with sharing links. So remember, we're assessing whether anything has been overshared. I now get a summary of all my SharePoint sites. So at the moment, this data assessment is only run against SharePoint sites, not against OneDrive for Business or anything, only SharePoint team sites, as well as those associated with Microsoft Teams. And we expect that to expand over time. So you see the list here, I get the total number of items, the items accessed, and so on. So I get a nice summary across here. Now if I want to drill in and get any specific information, so let's go in and have a look at the training site here. So if I select that, I get a nice overview, gives me an idea around the labeling. You'll also see that if I select the protect option up here, I can apply a number of options very quickly by simply selecting that. So I can restrict all items, apply that policy. I can apply sensitivity labels and create them. I can also assign default, any existing default sensitivity labels in here. I can create a policy and so on, edit, and right down the bottom here I can also create any retention policies. That gives me a shortcut to doing those items, to protecting the data for that site. Now if I go in and select the monitor option here, it'll give me a list of how the data is shared in that site. You'll see the majority of the data in this case is shared with specific people. Alright, so I'm going to select that, and that will open another window and give me more information about that information that has been shared in that manner. Now one of the limitations at the moment while this is in preview is that I really don't get a huge amount of information, or really able to drill down and make changes to the sharing on individual files just yet. We expect that to probably come along shortly, but at this point in time you need to think about this kind of view or report mainly as a summary of the files that have been shared in the manner that has been selected. So it gives you a nice summary of all the different ways that file types have been shared inside that environment, allows you to click on the ability and view all of the files that are shared in that particular manner, so you can go in and obviously go in and review them. So now that all the files come up, you'll see that I get a list of all the files. You'll see any sensitivity labels that have been applied there. So what we can do, for example, is go in and select one of these items. Now as I said, the limitation at the moment is it's just going to give me insight into what the data is. So it's going to give me like a file preview, which we see in other locations here, so you can actually get an idea of what the information actually contains here. So you can see it's a PowerPoint file, and I also get some details on the item. Now as yet we haven't got any capabilities in here to actually go in and make changes or adjust the sharing. At this point it's just a reporting only mechanism. So if we go back here, we also see that we can start a SharePoint site access review, get more detailed information on what is shared, how it's shared, and so on. And we can also run an access review in Enter ID if we want to do that as well. So all that is available to us. So at this point in time, remember that the DSPM for AI, when you select that in Purview, you'll find an option here called Data Assessments. You'll find that there will probably be a number of data assessments that are already taking place on a scheduled basis. You can drill into any of those that are completed and view more information. But at the moment there isn't a lot of capability to make adjustments to that sharing directly from this report. I'm sure that will come, but at this point in time it's just mainly a view. Now if you do want to create an assessment, you can go in here and select that. So let's just call this test to give you an idea, and you'll see that I can select all users or specific users, and here are my data sources. So you'll see at the moment the only option really that I've got is all SharePoint sites. Okay, so I really haven't got any other options at this point in time. Now remember, this policy here, or this assessments capability, is currently in preview, and we expect more options to be added to it over time, so keep your eye out for that. So if you do want to get some sort of idea of the oversharing in a summary way across your environment, in line with keeping a better understanding of how that may impact or how that can work with things like Microsoft 365 Copilot, you go into the Purview portal, select the DSPM for AI, and then go into data assessments down there, and then create an assessment or view an assessment from there.